You're with Brian Kilmeade.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. If you're watching online right now, if you're watching on the app, you click on watch and just swipe over and see Fox News Radio. Or watch on Fox Nation. We're streaming because we have first-time guests that you may have seen on, I saw on Instagram. I don't carry TikTok because I don't want the Chinese knowing everything. But James DeMullion is here, co-founder of the School of Hard Knocks. Also is here is Jack, your brother, older brother, and Joshua Smith. Guys, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So what I watch on Instagram is the School of Hard Knocks. Do you guys have a name for your group, your production company?
That's it. The School of Hard Knocks. That's our media company. That's us.
So tell everyone what the focus is. Why don't you start, James?
Absolutely. So
try to get a little closer to the microphone.
For sure. So the three of us, we started the channel. You know, we're from the Washington, D.C. area. And about 3 years ago, we came together to create one of the largest business finance media channels in all of social media. We grew it to over 4 million followers in 3 years, and the goal is to get advice from industry experts that have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of experience in finance and real estate and tech to be able to pass on those life lessons that entrepreneurs, career professionals have learned, to be able to bring that on to the younger generation. You know, we were very blessed and fortunate to have a lot of great mentors and people in our career that were able to help us out.
But you're only 21.
Only 21 years old.
And you've already had mentors.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, I say more so as like, you know, our dad, for example, he ran one of the largest military bases in the entire world in Camp Humphreys in South Korea. So we grew up, you know, seeing him lead tens of thousands of people. A lot of our peers didn't have that experience and were able to see that. And so because we were very fortunate to have that, you know, we wanted to be able to kind of pass that on to other people around us.
And Joshua, your dad served together, right?
Yeah, they served in Iraq together at the same time.
Is that how you met?
Well, we actually met, we were in the same Boy Scout troop. We all became Eagle Scouts together.
Wow, that's what a lot of military families do. So tell me, Jack, how you fit in.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when the first three of us started out, we literally would just go up and go to the kind of the wealthiest districts of Austin, Texas, which is where we're based. We would go up and we would just go and try to have conversations with people, business owners, people that are high in tech, really doing fascinating things. And we would just try to pitch them on, hey, can we just get 5 minutes of your time? We're trying to get advice for the younger generation, all the kids out there that want to be entrepreneurs, want to do great things and have big dreams. They don't have the mentors around them. Can you just give us 5 minutes of your time? We have some questions we'd like to ask you. And the majority of these people, they have never been on social media. This is, when we post them on our page, this is the most viewership they ever get. Like, these are people that have created great careers in finance, real estate, tech, and they just have never had that chance to give back and share the wisdom that they've accumulated over 20, 30, 40 years of a career.
And it's flattering to be asked, to be honest, because a lot of, it's obviously if you're a famous Dallas Cowboy, everybody knows, we know your contracts, we know your signing bonus, we know where you drafted. But a lot of people driving around in nice cars, huge houses, and you wonder, how do they get that?
Yeah.
And you wondered that, but you took action. What I think people should understand, we're about to play a clip, is you're not sitting down in an antiseptic studio after having a book or book them. You're walking up to them on the street in a Maserati or whatever they have and saying, hey, do you have a second? Here is your interview with James Keys. And this is you, right, James?
Yep. Okay,
so is there anything I should know before I roll the clip?
No, this is James Keys, the former CEO of 7-Eleven and Blockbuster.
Cut 45.
What was the biggest driving factor of your success that enabled you to work your way up and become a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company like 7-Eleven?
I'll give them to you. They're my gift. First, change. People hate change. Everybody hates change. Harvey McKay, a friend of mine, best-selling author, says the only one that likes change is a wet baby. People react differently to change, and they go, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Well, change is reality, and change equals opportunity. So I've coined that expression. CEO is all about change equals opportunity. If you embrace it, you'll see that if I respond to this change and others don't, I'm going to turn that into shareholder value. The second is confidence, because when things change, you lack confidence. You're like, oh no, woe is me, what's going to happen, right? But confidence is all about preparation. So the more you prepare, the more you can win.
That was somebody you ran into how?
We were just in Highland Park in the shopping district in Dallas, Texas.
You recognize him?
No, didn't recognize him. Just wanted to have a conversation with him.
So you walked up on him cold?
Correct.
Did you just sense that he had money?
You can kind of just tell. We've been doing this a long time. We've interviewed over 1,000 people, so you can kind of just, and plus when you go to those areas, right, where it's like, there's just really high percentages of people that are kind of in that class, you can know sometimes.
So Jack, how many times did you get the Heisman where they're like, excuse me, leave me alone. None of your business.
Absolutely. So, I mean, when we were first starting out, we really had to kind of nail down, like, what is that pitch, asking people for their time. They don't know anything about you. You have to establish credibility really quickly as to that you're doing this for a good cause. Hey, this isn't for, a joke on social media. We actually have a really serious cause and goal that we're trying to help provide this content for. And so when starting out, I mean, you would have people, people would cuss at you, they'd throw the hand up, they would just walk away, or they'd come up with some sort of excuse why they can't talk to you. It's the same thing in sales. You're going to get a bunch of rejections, but at the end of the day, if you really understand why we're doing this, then all those times that we were told no, it was just closer to getting that next yes.
And before I roll the next clip, Joshua, do you write this stuff down? Are you making a good segment, or in your head you're saying, can I use this stuff from my life?
Oh, absolutely. Because the greatest thing about what we do is not only do we genuinely enjoy our work, but we also get to learn lessons along the way. Because these people, like we said, we're not talking to people who have maybe just done it for 1 or 2 years. We're talking to industry experts, people who have been very successful in their field throughout 20, 30, 40 years. And so we're able to pull their insights and pull some pieces of wisdom out of them, and not only apply it to our own business, but also share that wisdom with others.
So you walked up on Justin Waller. He's the owner of Red Iron construction company based in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Anything I should know before I roll it?
No, he's a G. He's a real G.
What does that mean?
Like, he's a GOAT,
Oh, greatest of all time.
He is.
See, should I have known that, Pete and Eric? Did I just reveal myself?
I'll just say, like, he's a stand-up guy. Like, he's a real legit businessman.
48.
What is your best self-improvement advice for the younger generation out there?
As unpopular as it might be, get your ass in shape. When you walk in a room, people treat you differently. When you tell somebody that you can do something, they believe you because you're walking around displaying discipline. Let me show you something. Give me this hand. You see that? That says something to me when I see it. That means you've been working. So I know when you want to come talk to me that you are worth talking about because you're not just some punk, you're actually working hard trying to get your life together. I respect that. It's hard not to respect a person that's in shape. All across the entire world, no matter what language, no matter what country, no matter what business, if a man walks in a room and he's put together and you can tell that he's put his body through pain and he's built his body up, it's impossible not to respect it. I could hate the person and be like, but I respect him.
All right, who wants to take this? Jack?
I got it.
Oh, you got it. Go, James.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was an interview that we did with him. I asked him for his best self-improvement advice, and I couldn't agree more.
He's in really good shape, this guy.
He's in great shape, and he was talking to me because I was interviewing him.
And you're in good shape.
I was interviewing him in his Lamborghini, and he had pointed out my hand because he could tell that I had calluses on it because I work out a lot. And it's great actionable advice, in my opinion. I would tell anybody that if they're broke right now, they don't have any money, if you go in a room and you're put together and you're in shape, you automatically kind of deem a certain amount of respect. People, they genuinely...
Shoulders back, you keep your head
They gravitate
steady
towards you. They want to be around you. Hey, this guy's disciplined, right? You can tell that he's disciplined if he's been able to build his body up like that, even if you may not have the financial means or just a status per se, like that is a great actionable step, and it's great advice.
Right.
It's great advice.
Yep. Did you walk? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say is because whether you like it or not, first impressions are still very much so a real thing. So if you go into a room and you look like a bag of potato chips, you're busting out the seams, people aren't going to take you as seriously because if you, especially if you're giving them business, if you can't take care of yourself, how can you expect to take care of them?
And I think that's pretty certain, too. The other thing is it's a way of taking action. Right? I'm frustrated. The job didn't come through. They never called me back. So you're taking action and doing something productive, and people like to know you have that discipline. Did you guys get that, though, from the military, too? I mean, there's discipline, there's regiment. That's what the kind of lives you guys had growing up, didn't you?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, our dad, he ran Camp Humphreys. He was the garrison commander of the largest overseas military base in the world.
You watch people training all the time.
Absolutely, all the time. And you see that it was instilled in us as far as like what was expected to always do our best and always kind of put forth our best efforts no matter like what we were doing, whether it was school, whether it was scouts, baseball, trying to, higher level. And we just always wanted more.
Now, is it also true, were you part of the kids that had to keep moving?
Yes, yes.
So that also brings kids outgoing, doesn't it? I'm going to walk next door and find out who the kids are in the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Most kids don't have that.
Yeah, you're constantly having to adapt, right? You don't have a set friend group. You're constantly moving around a lot. So it teaches you a lot, which is, again, one of the most important things is knowing how to pivot, whenever you're facing adversity or just having to adapt. It's like what James Keys was talking about, that change, being able to embrace it and not be woe is me, but actually make the most of it.
Yeah, we had grown up in Korea. And so getting that kind of at a young age, that outside world perspective and having to actually be immersed in another culture and have to go up and talk to people. They might not speak the same language. They come from a completely different set of beliefs and facts, opinions, values. And so with that kind of gave us the skills to be able to, hey, everybody's got a certain perspective that they can come and share the world like we do on our channel. And that's why I think that ultimately helped us to be able to go up to so many different people and ask them for their advice.
I don't know if this is the cut, but I don't. His name is he's Nigerian, right? Is it Odi Ananaku?
Anyi Adenukwe.
Ananique.
Anyi Adenukwe.
So you walked up on him.
Yep.
He looks rich.
Yeah.
He looks successful.
In the Rolls Royce.
And you also pointed out, well, a lot of these guys, you asked him, did you ever lose everything? They almost all of them said, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to be willing to lose.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, I lost that one, but I'm not going to lose. I'm going to come back. I'm going to learn from it. Here's a little from him. He's the CEO of, is it Glow Training?
Glow Tanning. It's
Glow
I think
Tanning.
second. It's one of the largest sun spa tanning franchises in the entire country.
Who would think a black guy from Africa would be ahead of tanning?
Yep.
Cut 47.
Is this your Rolls Royce?
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living?
I own a sun spa tanning franchise that has 75 plus locations in like 13 states.
We go all over the country just asking business owners their advice to young entrepreneurs. Thought you had a beautiful car. Want to know, we asked you just a few questions. What has been the most amount of money that you ever made in a single year?
Multiple seven figures.
For someone out there, they're trying to scale their income from 6 to 7 figures. What advice would you give them?
The biggest thing is people are control freaks, and there's a really good book. It's like super short, but it's called Great CEOs Are Lazy, and basically says that if you can delegate and somebody can do the task 70% as well as you can delegate it. So like I'm a master delegator, so I find people and I put them in positions to do things, give people opportunities in a sense of like I will buy a company and give somebody equity, so therefore that's their baby. If it's a 6-figure profit business where it's it's making 600,000, you're 50-50 partners, now you're making 300,000, you're literally doing nothing.
How great is that?
It's some of the best.
You guys were all
advice.
nodding with this.
Yeah. It's some of the best business advice that I've ever heard. People will take you places that money can't, and the most successful people, they know how to bring other people in. One of the biggest, our favorite business quotes that we always stick by is that I'd rather have a slice of the pie than 100% a grape. A lot of people, they want to be that solopreneur, wear all the hats themselves, when there's people that have, been in this game for a lot longer than you and have a lot of value to provide. And if you have any slight of value add to them, it's like, hey, a lot of people are willing to collaborate with you and team up. So we're big believers in delegating to elevate.
But Joshua, the other thing is you have to have confidence.
Yep.
I started this business, but I see this guy or this woman, they're really smart. You have to be confident enough to say, okay, they can overwhelm me. They know more. Let them lead. Because if your goal is the big picture, you want people to bring you there no matter who they are, right?
Yep.
It can't be about you.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think just to reiterate what James was talking about is I think people really get stuck on being that solopreneur, thinking that I can do it all from all myself. But in the reality is, what do you do if you get sick? What do you do if, you have to go to a funeral? And the reality is you need a team in order to elevate and go to the next level, because you can get to a certain amount of success by yourself, but ultimately great leaders in every big business, you need to bring others in order to scale and become successful.
All right. James DeMullion is here. His brother, Jack, is also here, and Joshua Smith. Together, they co-founded the School of Hard Knocks Media. But believe it or not, their business is helping everybody that watches and listens across all platforms. They have over 4 million followers in just 3 years, and they're not. You're the oldest at 25.
Josh, the oldest, 25. I'm 24.
24. Yeah. Okay, excuse me.
You're good.
You're the oldest at 25. That's amazing what you've already done.
So I think it was Michelangelo or somebody that said true elegance is in simplicity. I can't lead if you can't understand. So it's up to me to keep things simple and clear. Change, confidence, clarity. You want to know the path to being a CEO of a company or your life? It's those three things.
So interesting. James Keys, former CEO of Blockbuster, now 7-Eleven. Oh, and 7-Eleven, talks about some of the keys to his success, how he became a CEO. And that was James DeMullion who asked him the questions. With him also is his partners, Joshua Smith and his brother, Jack. Welcome back, guys. Just a little bit more from, I know you're really impressed with James Keys. So, Josh, you want to tell me about him?
Absolutely. So what I think is something very interesting about James Keys is everyone I feel like knows him for Blockbuster, because he was Blockbuster for a stint of a few years, not during the actual. I'm sorry. He was a CEO of Blockbuster for a few years, but also prior to that, he was the CEO of 7-Eleven, and he was a part of a really cool process of 7-Eleven. He's the reason that taquitos are in 7-Eleven, the reason that you have the digital processing at the gas pumps, and he really embodies a lot of the advice that he gives of change equals opportunity. Because back on that time when he was talking about when it was the early 2000s, credit cards, debit cards are really starting to become mainstream, and pretty much what we were learning is that, they did not want to offer digital processing.
Right, go ahead.
They did not want to offer digital processing at the actual gas pumps. So what he was able to do is throw in those ideas to the board of directors, and he was able to give those ideas to the board of directors and pretty much pitch that, like, look, if we offer digital processing at the gas pumps rather than at making everyone pay inside, we will get more customers and make more business for our money. And pretty much they split tested it at a few locations, and he realized that that's exactly what happened is when they actually put out the gas pumps, the business took off.
The School of Hard Knocks is the name of their media company, and that's where you see them. I saw them on Instagram. You could be seeing them on TikTok. You could see their page on YouTube. And they started this about 3 years ago. Now, you mentioned you got 4 million followers. What blew me away is how many views have you gotten?
In the last 3 years, we've generated over a billion views.
Over a billion views?
Over a billion views.
So are you even surprising yourself with this?
You know, I think so. And initially kind of it caught up to us, like, especially like just about every city we go to now, whether it's Miami, Los Angeles, Austin.
People know you guys
all the time. Every city we go to, we'll have people that come up to us and be like, hey, man, we love your videos. And what's even more fascinating about that, in my opinion, is that we have people from countries like India, Australia, Africa that will reach out and be like, hey, man, I was really struggling in my job. I actually quit my 9-to-5 to really go all in on my business venture and whatnot. And like when you get messages like that, it's very inspiring to see kind of like the work that you're doing is paying off to help other people, go for what they want.
And you know what, they just run me through some of the questions that you ask them. And a lot of these people, I think people are going to be heartened to know, yes, they're successful. But every single person that I watched that you interviewed talked about, yeah, I lost everything. Or I failed here. I just picked up, I learned, I moved. And that's just it. The resilience also comes through in what you guys picked out, right?
Absolutely. And what you learn is that, again, the most successful people, they have hit rock bottom. But at the end of the day, winners have a bounce back spirit. And that, what you learn with a lot of these people is that you could take everything from them. They could hit zero and they'll make it all back because they have the mindset to be able to steward that. Once you have that mentality and it's ingrained in you and you've already built up some skill sets, you can take everything away from a lot of these people and they'll make it all back.
Did you guys go to college?
Yes. Oh, well, two of us did. My brother and I, we graduated from the University of Texas. He was a college dropout.
I think what was really cool was that, like, when we first started the channel, all three of us had kind of different places in education at the time. I was finishing up college, James was just starting college, and Josh had moved on from college to start better things, to start his own business. And so through that, all those experiences, we had all different perspectives in where we were at in our educational journey, but we all loved entrepreneurship, and we knew that that was the focus and what we wanted to dive in on in order to start the School of Hard Knocks.
Wow, and that's why I've had so much success. Is the best yet to come?
The best is yet to come. We have so much more on the way. We're just excited to keep growing and keep making these things happen.
Well, from the first when the first tape I saw, I was impressed. I'm even more impressed now having to meet you guys. Go look them up and follow them at the School of Hard Knocks. Thanks, guys.